Hi, this is Tamara from Salon, and today we are asking Alan some questions. The question I wanted to ask is, it's a little bit controversial for salon marketing and salon owners because it's about internet, and is it actually killing our salon marketing?
Well, you're right, it is a controversial question because a lot of the salon owners we have through salon pumps these days are really, they're very web savvy, so they know how to use the web. They like to do everything from their iPad or their iPhone, so they know what they're doing. A lot of salon owners these days have salon systems, and they like to be connected all the time. But the real question is, because there's so much focus goes into social media, especially these days for hairdressing salons, is the internet killing salon marketing? To some extent it definitely is, yeah. And really never has there been a better time to be more aware of it, because trainers and leaders who don't really understand the psychology of buying will always jump onto the latest and the greatest thing, which is social media, iPhones, sitting in the cafe, sitting in the staff room, doing your marketing. But the reality is, it's killing some salon businesses. We've seen that firsthand. You know, we've seen people spending so much time, so much energy, so much effort on social media, yet they may still only have, 200 likes on their Facebook page, and they're throwing all this time into these likes. At the same time, the likes are not transferring into clients coming through the salon and paying for a haircut or for a salon service. The second problem is that these leaders and trainers will talk about you have to engage the audience through salon social media. But the problem is you're actually disengaging the audience, because the human reality of a client or someone doing any kind of buying is it's a multi-dimensional effect on the human being. Now this gets a little bit more complicated, but what it basically means is, for example, when I used to do, I was thinking about this example for you because you asked the question. When I used to do salon marketing years ago, we used to sometimes take our clients on the street and we would do the hair literally on the street, yeah. So if it was a sunny day, we would push, it was a pedestrian way, we would push the chairs onto the street and do haircuts actually on the street. Now, the good thing about this is the senses that were engaged being the word, were sight. Now you had multi-dimensional things happening on the sight, because you had hair blowing away, you'd have hands moving, you had the stylist moving around, so the eye was continually seeing things all the time. You would also have the smell would be engaged, because they would smell the shampoo, they would smell the natural sculpting foam stinking of coconut, they would smell all this different stuff flying around in air. They would hear us speaking, so another engagement, they would hear us speaking, they would hear the sound of the scissors, they would hear the sound of the hair being cut, they would hear all this different stuff going on. So, truthfully, and of course the mind was engaged as well, and we would let them touch if they wanted to, they could touch the hair, touch the product, so the touch, the senses, so every sense is engaged, and that is really engagement marketing at its truest and purest form. The problem with social media is it's removed the human touch, it's removed the human engagement on marketing. And what that's done is, social media gives less than a single engagement. Because although you're getting a visual, the visual isn't multi-visual. So when we see something outside, we see things blowing, we see things still. We also see in 3 dimensions. So something's closer, something's further, and so on. A photograph is one still flat moment in time that is captured. So it is multi-dimensional. And because you don't have the human dimension or engagement on a photograph on social media, you don't get engagement. In fact, you create anti-engagement. However, you can change that with the use of video on social media like Facebook Live.
Well, what I wanted to ask is, some of the listeners may think that it's okay for me to engage with the client once they're in the salon. So, what about, I'm just using social media, or I'm hoping to use social media in order to get the clients in. So where is the kind of balance where you are using, it's not just social media, we're talking about internet in general. So where we're using internet in a way that engages clients rather than disengages, as you mentioned, through the web, that we ultimately bring those people in the room. So we're not talking about this is completely bad. So I suppose what we're talking about how it can go wrong. What's the right balance?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using that stuff. I mean, we use it.
Yeah.
But the problem is now everybody's using it. So it's a little bit like a magazine ad or a newspaper ad. Everybody does magazine or newspaper ads, but what's so different about yours?
Mm-hmm.
So if your social media is exactly the same as everybody else's, we see this all the time because we do this stuff. So one thing we find, say for example on Instagram, is everybody posts the same photographs that use the same hashtag. That's it. We see the same on Facebook. So what really you have to ask yourself is, can I use that stuff but use it in a slightly different way? So we know that everybody uses a website. But the question is, Amazon, if they've got 300 million customers from a website, what are they doing different with their website to what the failed websites are doing? Because you get copycat websites that don't do any sales. So what are Amazon doing different? What do Apple do different? What do all these guys do different? Now I know they're not in the hairdressing industry, but they're still good benchmarks to follow because they're doing something different. So if you're using social media, and of course I'm still saying use social media, I'm not saying don't use it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, don't become totally reliant on social media, because the reality is it disengages.
Yeah.
It doesn't engage.
So basically it's just you saying, to remember to get back to the basics, which is it's about clients, it's about the right level of
you have to remember,
and conversation.
you have to remember, being a client going into a salon is a very human experience. We all know as hairdressers that the client is terrified of coming. We know the client takes 10 minutes or so to a second before anything happens. We know that he or she is getting, butterflies in their stomach before the haircut or the restyle begins. It's an extremely human experience. So how can you humanise your electronic messages? That's a real question. Because most salons, I'm yet to see a salon that does it super successfully.
Yeah. So talk about then social media and engagement. So one of the questions that is frequently asked is about staff and just I suppose managing staff effectively so that it benefits the salon. So what's your opinion about staff being involved in the customer engagement process in this online driven world? So what's your opinion?
I'm not 100% sure on the question, but I think what you're saying is how deeply involved should the staff be?
Yes.
Well,
so that it's beneficial rather than damaging.
This takes us on to a different level really, and the different level is, have you created salon loyalty rather than staff loyalty? Now, it took me years to discover that you can actually make clients loyal to the salon. But of course they are always loyal to the staff as well. Now, we got it to a stage actually where when a really good stylist left the salon, we didn't really use that many and lose that many clients. Where of course we get salons phoning us and emailing us freaking out saying, I've lost my best stylist, I'm going to lose all my clients and so on, or I have lost all my clients. So you have to use social media to really show off your superstars in the salon. But you have to remember, the show is always bigger than the star.
Yeah.
So what is the show? The show should be the salon. So really the focus should go on what is my salon all about? Why am I so unique? Why am I always going to be the first choice and the first option for every client? And even if like when Manchester United lost Ronaldo or Eric Cantona or David Beckham, did Manchester United disappear? Well, the answer is no. Because the football team, the brand, the label, is way bigger than any of those superstars. That is how you have to build your hairdressing business.
Yeah.
Your salon has to be much bigger. So really, the salon has to become a star in its own right. And that's a whole different level of marketing.
Yeah. Alan Smith, thank you very much.
Thank you.